guys, welcome back to my channel. I finally graduated with a master's degree in electronics and communications engineering. This is a story about my master's journey, my experiences, lessons I learned, and how it all shaped me. So I pursued my master's degree at the Egypt Japan University of Science and Technology, located in Alexandria, Egypt. I started in April 2022 and completed in May 2024 under the TCAD 7 scholarship. It was originally planned to take 2.5 years, which ends this month. And this is one of the reasons I really wanted to do this video by this month. And yeah, what a journey it was. Making the decision to pursue a master's degree wasn't easy for me. I knew I wanted to focus on something I was truly passionate about, that is practical engineering, especially in embedded systems. So I took the leap and left my role as a junior electronics engineer in Kenya to accept the scholarship opportunity in Egypt. I expected the program to be what I had imagined: hands-on work and a comfortable stipend. But as it turns out, things don't always go as planned. So here's the thing: there are different types of master's programs. Some are research-based, some are thesis-based, and others are coursework-based, with a blend of the two. Each one has its own set of requirements, so it's really important to understand what you are signing up for before you start. So in Egypt, the program was heavily focused on research, with only a small portion being project-based, which wasn't what I had anticipated. But I had to adapt to this reality. Adapting to this new reality was essential. So this included balancing coursework, research, and adjusting to a life in a new country, which wasn't a small feat. Timing is also a big factor when it comes to pursuing further studies. Some people go straight from their bachelor's degree, while others, like me, take some time to work or even start a family first. Of course, in my case, this was after 2 years of working. It's really important to think about your timing, because each stage of life comes with its own set of challenges. But that doesn't mean there is a bad time to start. Just make sure you're prepared for whatever stage you are in. I had friends who joined the program with several years of work experience, and others who had been married for a long time. The key takeaway here is to stay focused and objective, no matter what stage of life you are in. So this is actually very important. It was my first time living in an Arabic-speaking country, and in fact, it was my first time living outside my home country, Kenya. And Egypt's rich history and unique way of life really opened my eyes to a different world. One of the first things I noticed was how different the culture was. So some may call this cultural shock and such a thing. Egypt is predominantly Muslim, and coming from a Christian background, I faced some challenges, like finding a church where I could worship. The way people relate to one another is also quite different from what I was used to. And of course, there was the language barrier. I had to learn some basic Arabic, so understanding the local language made it easier to connect with people and adapt to the environment. So these are just some of the adjustments you have to make when you're moving to a foreign country for studies. But there were also a lot of exciting parts. Egypt is full of history and I got to explore some incredible places, for example, the Great Pyramids, the ancient temples and tombs. I made time to experience the richness of the Egyptian culture beyond the classroom. I even captured some of these adventures in short videos. Feel free to check them out. Being exposed to such a diverse culture really expanded my worldview. There were aspects of Egyptian culture that I admire, and to this day, I still think about adopting some of their practices in my own life. The way people live, their sense of community, their approach to everyday life gave me a fresh perspective. One of the most enriching parts of my experiences was studying at a university that was a collaboration between the Egyptian and the Japanese systems. This allowed me to interact with professionals from both countries, which was an incredible learning opportunity. On top of that, I met students from all over the world, but heavily from Africa, people from different cultures with different perspectives. This exposure really broadened my understanding and shaped the way I view both my field and the world at large. On the academic side, the facilities and opportunities at the university exceeded my expectations. I had access to advanced technology and resources that allowed me to push my skills further and gain more specialized knowledge and experience. The whole experience has been or was incredibly formative, both in my personal and professional growth. It's not just more studying, it got much more deeper than that. A master's degree, especially one that's research based like what I had, involves a lot of self discipline, focus, and organization. For me, balancing research and coursework was challenging at first. It's easy to feel overwhelmed, and that's why it's important to have a clear personal objective from the beginning. Without defining goals, you can easily get caught up in external influences, but this journey is very individual. This is actually very important. You need to stay focused on what you want to achieve. I have actually made a video about a typical life in the life of a master's student, at least from my experience there. But the key takeaway for me was this: you have to be strategic, organized, and smart on about how you go about your work and your time. So planning your routine, setting realistic milestones, and staying on track were very crucial to making it through successfully. So those were really key areas and takeaways for me. Support was absolutely crucial in getting through this journey, and that's one of the biggest lessons I learned. The master's journey is tough, and I realized early on how important it is to have a solid support system. Before this experience, I used to have a I was used to be very reserved and independent, but along the way, I connected with a few friends who turned out to be incredibly supportive and understanding. I really appreciate them. Their presence really kept me going during the most challenging moments. And also, being far from home, uh, of course, you feel kind of homesick and far from your family. Therefore, staying connected with family was also equally important. Regular calls back home helped me stay grounded and reminded me of where I come from, which provided a sense of comfort and motivation. I truly want to thank my friends who stood by me throughout this journey. Dropping out felt like an easy option at times, but their encouragement and support made all the difference. The pressure of a master's degree can be intense, and I have seen students struggle to the point where it really takes a toll on their mental well being. So, for me, taking care of myself was essential. I made sure to engage in activities outside of my studies. I had a regular gym routine, participated in football tournaments, and attended cultural and social events at the university. So, these activities help me release stress and provide a healthy way to expel any negative energy. My advice is to make time for things that help you recharge, whether it's exercising, socializing, or pursuing a hobby. Your mental health is just as important as your academic progress. So don't neglect it. Research was definitely the biggest hurdle for me. It wasn't just about doing the work, it was about managing setbacks and staying motivated through it all. One of the major requirements was to publish an academic article in a highly ranked peer reviewed journal. If you ask anyone in academia, actually, they will tell you that's not an easy feat. Personally, I had my work rejected more times than I'd like to admit, not once, not twice, but several times. The first rejection was particularly discouraging. Let me share a personal story. The first time my work was rejected, I was in shock. I had such high hopes for my research, and when I received feedback, I felt like the reviewers were harshly criticizing me as a person. It was tough to process these negative comments, and I remember feeling a bit devastated. But after taking some time to absorb it, I shared the feedback with a few close friends who understood what it was to go through that. They helped me put things into perspective. I then later approached my professor to discuss it. Luckily, he was very supportive. He reassured me, and together we discussed how to move forward. Well, of course, not everyone may have this kind of support from their supervisor, and this happened to many of my friends. But what is important to remember is that rejections are very common in academia, just in they are in real life. Doesn't mean your work is worthless. It just means you need to maybe refine your work and try again. So that was important to remember. For me, the key was to really, the key actually, the lesson is to fail early, learn from the experience, and keep pushing forward. I also made sure to set achievable goals along the way so I don't get overwhelmed by this process, and never give up even when it feels actually discouraging. So that was one of the toughest things I had to learn. The biggest takeaways for me were clear and impactful. First, I learned the importance of putting God first. It gave me strength and direction through the journey. Staying positive was also crucial, especially when facing challenges like research setbacks or adapting to life in a new country. Having a strong support system made all the difference actually. My friends, family, and mentors helped me stay grounded and motivated. Of course, being organized and staying focused on your personal goals also keeps you on track, even when external pressures seem overwhelming. So I should also mention that in all this, when you seek for support systems and friends, there's one also very impactful thing, and this is that you should be also a support system to someone. Being there for guys who are also going through challenges, being there for your friends, it actually gives you some strength that you never had. And so try to encourage someone, be there for someone going through difficult moments. Ultimately, the combination of faith, positivity, support, organization, and focus were the keys to successfully navigating this demanding experience, at least for me. The journey was absolutely worth it. One of the biggest rewards for me was the new international connections I made. Meeting people from different cultures and backgrounds has opened up many new opportunities for me. I also gained the deeper expertise in my field, which has been invaluable for my personal and professional growth. There is this personal fulfillment that I have of completing my master's, as much as it was as hard as it may have been. There's a sense of pride and achievement that comes from knowing that I pushed through the challenges, stayed focused and true to my goals, and came out stronger. So this milestone represents not just the academic accomplishment but also the personal growth I experienced along the way. I want to dedicate this video to my family who have supported me from the very beginning, and to my friends who listened and understood and stood by me through this journey. Of course, many individuals whose prayers and good wishes meant a lot to me. They were pillars that kept me strong, and to everyone who believed in me, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Your support made all the difference.